Hello, welcome to our sixth semester engineering economics and accountancy course. Okay, so today we have deal unit third, which state production and cost analysis. Under this unit, under the heading of production and cost analysis, production function, returns to scale, and production optimization, least cost input, isoquant, managerial uses of production function, cost concept, cost function, and type of cost, determinants of cost, short run and long run cost curves, and cost output decision, estimation of cost. Actually, under the production function, we have to enumerate that determinants or that uh, statement which is directly affect the production. Similarly, return to scale, what is the return to scale? We have studying in this unit, and production output and production optimization, least cost input, and isoquant. Okay, let's start production and cost. So production function, first of all we have to introduce that what is the definition. Definition is says a production function shows the relationship between input means what is the input is labor, capital, land, these are whatever the come under the process is the input, and the output produced by firm. So production function shows the relationship between the input and output produced by the firm. It can be expressed as Q is equal to F L K M. So actually this Q is the production function is expressed as the function which is the this is the production. Suppose this is the output, Q is the output, and this Q output is depend on what factor. So these factors should be taken in totality and defined by the F, that is called the function LKM. Here we have taken L as a labor, K is a capital, M is a material, or whatever the factor which is directly effect on your output, you can take inside this bracket. So this will shows the represent the production function, nothing but it is the just production function. Okay, now taking an example, a bakery uses flour, labor, and oven to produce bread. Suppose a bakery is produces the bread, so what they have input, it's a labor, flour, oven. Flour, what this is the working material, labor because it is involved on that, and oven for saking of this you sake of means cook, so by means of this, so this is the production of bread. So this is the input, and the number of loaves means pieces baked on depend on the quantity of each input used. Example clearly. Now how many types of production function? There are only two types, short run production function and long run production function. Simply nothing but it is a short run and long run. What is a short run? Short run means at least one input is fixed, and long run means all input are variable. So taking an example, return to scale. What is the return to scale? Return to scale definition, return to scale explain how output changes when all input changes proportionally. Means you have to change the input, so our output definitely will change, but how will they change? When because you input is changed proportionally, so output is also changes in what manner, so it is to be judged in the return to scale. How many type of return to scale? Increase return to scale, increasing return to scale, constant return to scale, decreasing return to scale. Increasing return to scale says that when proportional increases in inputs lead to more than means abnormally so much amount increases output when you proportionally or a little bit amount you have to change in their input. For example, a car manufacturing plant double input and produce 3 times of more car due to its efficiency gain. Means if our means experienced worker are there, so little change will affect the more. So this is called the uh, this is called increasing return to scale and constant return to scale. Constant return to scale means when the proportional increases in input lead to the same proportional increase in output. This is the constant, means a proportional increase in input but lead to the same proportional increase in the output. This is the constant, means you have to increase input 2 unit, output will be increased only 2 unit. But in case of increasing return to scale, you have to change the input is 2 unit but output will not 2 but more than that. So this is the increasing return and this is the constant return to scale. And third one is, for example, here constant return to scale, an example is taken. A tailor's shop double its machine and worker, leading the double the number of garments produced. Similarly here third, decreasing return to scale. So increasing, decreasing and constant, only 3 types. Okay. The decreasing return to scale means when the proportional increase in input lead to less than proportional increase to output. Means when you change the input in your production is 2 unit but only 1 unit or less than 2 unit increase of the output. So this is the decreasing return to scale, DRS. So IRS, CRS and DRS. Example, a restaurant hire more chef but due to space constraint productivity increases only slightly, means not too much or not that proportional. When you increase the input, output is not increases. Similarly, third topic here, production optimization. Production optimization means production optimization involve adjusting input combination to maximize the output or minimize the cost, because every business want to minimize the cost and maximize the output. This is called the production optimization. How much minimum amount of the cost you have to set for maximum output, that is called the production optimization. For example, a smartphone manufacturer optimizes its supply chain and production process to produce maximum phone with minimal waste. This is the example. Fourth is least cost input combination. What is the least cost input combination? Means every business want to judge or want to know that how much cost should be least or input so that our output is so much or whatever we said, that is a least cost input combination. It is a to minimize the cost, firms select the input mix where MRTS means marginal rate of technical substitution. Marginal rate of technical substitution is equal to the ratio of input prices, where MRTS changes in capital per unit change in labor for constant output. Means MRTS means marginal rate of technical substitution, मतलब how much amount marginal you set for changing the labor or for unit constant output. Example, a company producing furniture may choose between hiring more labor or investing in automated machinery to minimize cost while maintaining production level. Actually, what happened when you have suppose to change your output, you want to introduce machine, but machine is so much costly as to come to output is not so much output. Therefore he decide, or the companies decide that how much marginal cost to be changed so that our output is changed. So this is the marginal rate of technical substitution. Technical substitution means machine is the technical substitution in case of labor, or here in spite of human involvement. So this is the least cost input combination. What is isoquant? Isoquant definition: isoquant are curves representing different combinations of input that produce the same level of output. Isoquant, as mean of it, isoquant are curve which representing different combination of input that produce the same level of output. Means what variables or what option is available for changing the input to produce the same level of output. This is the isoquant. So, and it is obtained by a curve. For example, a farming business can use different combination of labor and tractor to produce the same amount of crops. A farming business can use different combination of labor and tractor to produce the same amount of crop. Properties, what is the properties of isoquant? Isoquant has properties are downward sloping, higher isoquant represent higher output level, and isoquant never intersect. This is the curve actually, and I will show you what is the curve. Just a minute. Isoquant curve. So look, see here, this is the isoquant curve. X-axis shows capital and y-axis shows the labor. So this is the combination of input, means how much capital and how much labor, where we found the same level of output. Here A, so this is one of the thing, this B. So actually this all the point is lies on this curve. This is the isoquant curve. Marginal uses of production function. What is the marginal uses of production function? It helps in decision making regarding input choice, determine cost minimization strategies, evaluate the productivity and efficiency of production process. For example, a logistic company uses production function analysis to determine the optimal number of truck and driver required to maximize delivery. Marginal use of production function. A logistic company uses production function analysis to determine the optimal number of truck and driver required to maximize the delivery, because it helps in decision making regarding input choice, determine cost minimization strategy, and evaluate the productivity and efficiency of the production process. What is the cost concept? How many types it's? First, fixed cost, variable cost, total cost, average cost, and marginal cost. So you have to acquainted with this. Fixed cost means the cost that do not change with the output. For example, rent of the shop or rent of the factory or land. This is the fixed cost. Factory monthly lease payment remain the same regardless of production level. Whatever your production is higher or lower, but this is never change. That's why it's called the fixed cost. Variable cost means it depends on the current value, means cost that vary with the output. For example, raw material. Raw material is changing always, and how much amount you output is produced depend on that. So this is the variable cost. Example, the cost of flour for bakery increases with more bread production. Total cost. Total cost means sum of the fixed and variable is called the total cost. Average cost. Average cost means total cost per unit of output. Means after taking total cost, you have to divide by the number of production unit, you will get the average cost. Marginal cost. Marginal cost means additional cost of producing one more unit. For example, the cost of producing one additional car in automobile plant. This is the marginal cost. Means you have to not change the whole the setup, but marginally you have to change. Eighth is cost function. What is cost function? A cost function shows the relationship between output and total cost. This is the cost function, because one have to enumerate the relationship between output and total cost. Mathematically, it is TC is equal to FC plus VCQ. For example, a textile mill analyze its cost function to determine how change in raw material cost affects total production cost. Determinants of cost. Determinants means cost means what the factor which affects the cost. This is the determinants. Technology, economics of scale, price of input, government regulation, time period, and short run and long term cost curve. These are all the effect the cost, that therefore it is called the determinants of cost. Technology, how it affect? Advanced technology reduce the cost. For example, automation in a car assembly line reduce labor cost and increase the efficiency. Similarly, economies of scale. Economies of scale means large scale production lower the cost per unit, because the mass production always having the lower cost per unit. Example, a large beverage company produce soft drink at a lower cost per unit due to its bulk purchasing. Price of input. Price of input. Higher input cost increase production cost. Price of input. Example, rising steel piece prices increases the cost of manufacturing car. Government regulation also affect the on the cost. How? Taxes and subsidies directly affect the cost. For example, government subsidize on solar panel reduce the production cost for renewable energy company. And time period. Time period means short run and long run cost behavior differently. Short run and long run cost curve. This is the fixed input lead to diminishing the return, and long run cost curves. All input are variable firms can adjust the production scale. For example, a bakery may have high cost in the short run due to limited oven, but can expand in the long run to produce per unit cost. So this is the example of short run and long run. Graphical representation is shows the U shape due to diminishing return, and long run average cost is envelope of all the SAC means short run average cost curve. Cost output decision. Firm decide production level by analyzing marginal cost and marginal revenue. This is the MC and MR. The optimal output level where MC is equal to MR. For example, a smartphone company determined its production level based on demand and the marginal cost of adding one or more unit. Means after deciding that if marginal cost is should be equal to the marginal revenue, means whatever you have gained after expanding your business, your marginal cost should not be higher. Then you have to decide whether we should start other or adding on or not. So this is the cost output decision. Estimation of cost. 12th topic. Cost estimation involve forecasting future cost using engineering approach based on input output relationship and statistical approach using regression model to estimate the cost function. For example, a construction company uses past project data and cost model to estimate the cost of a new project. Okay, taking the some question and answer so that you have aware with this topic. What is production function and what does its illustration? A production function is a mathematical relationship that describe the maximum output that can be produced from given set of input such as labor capital over a specific period. It illustrates the technological relationship between input output, showing how efficiently a firm can transform input into finished good or services. Second question says, explain the concept of return to scale. Return to scale, what is this mean? Return to scale refer the how output change when all input are increased proportionally. So these are the three types, already we have discussed it, and you can see here, okay. Third question it says, what are the isoquant and how are they used in production optimization? Isoquant are curves that allow all the combination of two input that can produce a specific level of output. They are used in production optimization to determine the least cost combination of input for a given output level. By combining isoquant with isocost line, which represent the cost of input, a firm can find the optimal input combination. Fourth question, define marginal cost and explain its significance. Marginal cost is the additional cost incurred by the producing one or more unit of output. It's significant because it helps a firm make decision about function level. By comparing marginal cost with marginal revenue, firm can determine the profit maximizing output. Fifth question, what is the difference between fixed cost and variable cost? As you seen, fixed costs are costs that do not change with the level of output, for example rent, insurance, and variable costs are costs that change directly with the level of output, for example raw material and direct labor. Sixth question, explain the shape of typical long run average cost LRAC curve. A typical LRAC curve is U-shaped. Initially it slopes downward due to economic of scale. At the minimum point it represents the constant return to scale. Finally it slopes upward due to its diseconomies of scale. Diseconomies of scale. Okay. Question number 7 is, what factor determines a firm cost structure? Factor include technology, input prices, output level, and managerial efficiency. Question number 8, what is the goal of least cost input combination? The goal is to find the combination of input that allow a firm to produce a given level of output at the lowest possible total cost. This is achieved where the marginal rate of technical substitution equal the ratio of input prices. Question number 9, how do managers use production function information? Managers use production function information to determine the optimal combination of input, forecast output level, evaluate the impact of technologies changes, and access the efficiency of production processes. Question number 10, what is the purpose of cost estimation? The purpose of cost estimation is to predict future cost, make informed decision about pricing, production and investment, control cost and improve efficiency, aid in budgeting and financial planning. Okay, thank you.